Hi, I'm Karen. We're here at Montevilla Sewing Center, and today we're talking about the Pfaff Ambition 620. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take care of your machine. Regular maintenance is important, especially if you do a lot of sewing, because lint can build up, especially in this area down here. So to start with, what we're going to do is unthread the machine. Now notice I'm cutting the thread up here by the spool, making sure the presser foot is lifted up, and then I take the excess thread out at the bottom. That's important because you don't want to pull your spool backwards out of your machine. If you do that continually, you're going to get lint built up in here, and that's not good. Thread is meant to go towards the needle, so that's why you cut here, pull the excess out this way. Okay, and then I'm going to take the bobbin out. So I push this little lever to the right, take the cover off, and take the bobbin out this way. I'm going to put that off to one side. I'm going to put the cover right back on here for now. Now the next thing I want to do is take the needle out. Now for maintenance, the book is going to tell you to turn off your machine. But for teaching purposes, I want to leave the light on so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, to start with, I'm going to just take that needle out because that's kind of, that's one of the possible dangers of having your machine on. So I'm going to take this out, remove it, that's out of the way. I'm going to put it right down here for safekeeping. Also, you can take the foot off by just pushing down on the front. That's off, it's also out of the way. Now we have, the feed dogs are exposed, but we need to uncover, take the cover off of there, the needle plate, and so I'm going to use my little screwdriver that comes with your machine. Also, this screwdriver is part of your accessories as well. Take that off of there, and once you get it up high enough, you can usually just undo it by hand. I'm just going to get it started here. There we go. That's right. And also, that's another thing. You don't want to leave these screws sitting around. They're pretty small, so let's keep them in the accessory tray as well. There we go. Get that little guy out of there. And put him down in the accessory tray. There we go. Now, one thing that makes it easier to lift off your foot, if you take this off, you can lift it off in front here. Yeah, there we go. All right, I didn't try this before. Oh, feed dogs down. They recommended having the feed dogs down. There we go. That helps. Good. All right, lift it off gently like that. And also you can lift up your presser foot a little higher too. That does help to give you some clearance. Another thing is, I didn't mention this before, but disengage that IDT in back. It gives you a little bit more room to work for taking off your needle plate. Then we want to take this out. This is the bobbin case. And you have an included brush. You want to clean any lint off of there as best you can, all sides, clean all sides really well, and then clean under that. I can see there's a little bit of lint here. I did some sewing the other day and got a little bit of lint built up. We want to get rid of that, get that out of there. The cutting mechanism, remember we talked about this in the previous video. The cutting mechanism is right over here, so make sure there's no threads caught in there, no extra lint, things like that. You do want to make sure that you clean in here really well, clean in your feed dogs, especially if you've been sewing flannel. Flannel tends to shed a lot of lint, so you want to clean between the feed dogs. Now when you're cleaning, you can also use your vacuum cleaner hose attachment, and as you're brushing, that pulls that excess lint right out of there. But you don't want to use canned air. Canned air can tend to blow things further back in your machine, but also I've noticed if I spray it long enough, it starts to put frost on whatever I'm spraying. Frost is moisture, and you never want to have moisture in your machine. So no canned air, okay? Most of the time, you can just get by using your brush. Now, down in here, there is a little fuzziness. That is your oiling wick. The oiling wick is what they put in the machine. You don't need to oil your machine, but it's what they put in the machine when they manufacture it, and then they put oil there to make sure it gets all in the correct places. Okay, so when we put our bobbin case back in, you want to make sure that this little knob here is right next to that little flexible stopper, and that it sits neatly on this rim right here. Okay, Put that in there, and you can see it's right there. I give it a little bit of a rock just to make sure it's sitting nice and evenly on that rim, just like that. Looks like I got a little more lint right there. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put this back on. This little thing goes under that edge there. So we can put that in here. Lift up the presser foot a little higher if we need to. And find those little screws. Put them back in there. And yeah, just got to get it started a little bit. There we go. Got that started. Get the other one fished out of there. And get this one started. That one. We got our little screwdriver. And you can start putting those back in there. Now, another thing about maintenance on your machine, you want to bring it in. If you do, especially if you do a lot of sewing, you want to bring your machine in here to Montevilla Sewing Center and have our technicians go over it, do a thorough cleaning, any oiling or adjusting that they need to do on a regular basis. Once a year is good. Yes, it costs you some money, but think about this. You have a car, you bring that in for regular maintenance. That costs some money, but it keeps it running well. That's what you want for your machine. You want to keep it in good tune, so it just kind of eliminates a lot of problems. So, and then of course, if anything comes up that you notice needs a little bit of adjustment, you can bring that to the attention of the technicians as well. So to put our needle back in, I like to put the needle in while the foot's off of there. That way, I don't have to have the foot in the way of when I'm trying to put the needle on. Now, in your accessories, you have this wonderful tool for putting the foot in. It's actually a multi-purpose tool, but that hole right there, if you look carefully, has a flat side at the back. That corresponds to the flat side of your needle. You want to have that flat side facing towards the back, and that's how it is on most machines. So I put that right in there. This now acts like a handle for the needle. So instead of holding it with my fingers, which could slide up and down that needle, I'm holding it with a tool. So we want to go down here, poke the needle down there where it sews, and come up right behind that thread guide. You have to kind of move it around. Now I'm going to start out by just tightening it by hand, but I'm pushing this upwards as I'm tightening it. Then I take the screwdriver, get in there, give it a little bit extra of a push on that screwdriver, and there we go. Now the needle is set correctly. When you go to clean your machine, you're going to be taking the needle out. That might be a good time to put in a new needle. You should put in a new needle, say every 3 full bobbins worth of thread that you use up. That's been a lot of stitching. By that time, that needle has gone through the fabric so many times, it's starting to get a little dull at the tip. Dull needles can affect your stitch quality, maybe cause skip stitches, but it also can damage your fabric. So you want to have a nice sharp needle. And then of course they're appropriate needles for your stitching that you're doing. To put the foot back on, it's right down here. Didn't get lost because I put it away. Just line this right up. Now make sure that you're looking at the letters. It says A, 0A. Make sure they're right side up, because it is possible to put the foot on backwards. You don't want to do that, because that's area is not meant for sewing. That area right there is meant for the IDT to fit in. So hold that down there, put that right up there, and it helps, to me, it helps to line up the hole in the foot with the hole in the needle plate, forward and back until it's right there, and that lowering the feed dogs, or the lowering the foot control, puts it back up. Now, talking about the feed dogs, we need to put that back up. So I'm going to push the switch back, and taking one stitch, that little click that you heard, that's the feed dogs re-engaging. That's all that's necessary to make them come back up. So that's simple machine maintenance that you can do on a regular basis. If you sew every day, I would clean your machine once a week. If you sew maybe a couple times a week, once a month should be fine. When you first get started with your machine, clean it a little more often than you think you need to. First of all, that'll get you in the habit of doing it. But secondly, you'll get a feel for how often you need to clean it and how long you can go between cleanings. So machine maintenance is very simple. You should do it regularly. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, give us a thumbs up. And if you have comments or questions on this video, you can put those in the area down below. We have lots of other videos here on our Montevilla Sewing YouTube channel, so keep watching. Thanks. Bye-bye.